Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit that bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the live discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of the YouTube, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you are interested in getting an idea of the meals that we enjoy, we have a link to a Pinterest board down in the description below, and you can check that out. Today is day 856 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose 235 pounds so far. I have just under 8 months left to go. I'm excited about reaching my goal and living the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing about those as well. If you're succeeding with your diet, share your success with us. Let us know what you're doing to succeed. If you're struggling with your diet, let us know what's going on. Maybe there's something we can help you with. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are going to do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's switch over here. Hello, bunch of people in here. Plants Only, Muncher, Barb, Pretty Girl's Mom, Christy, Tennyson, Young Girl, Amy, Our Tiny Acres, Rick and Cindy. Hello, and Carrie as well. I hope everybody is having a great day today and you had a wonderful weekend. We had a very busy Saturday, or I had a very busy Saturday. Sunday seemed to be a little bit less busy, but it was very nice. So we got the kids out and had them playing outside and doing lots of fun, wonderful spring things here throughout the weekend. Let me see. I'll go ahead and go over food real quick, what I ate this weekend. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I think this is what we started off Friday after I got home. Our Tiny Acres said that they had a great weekend. They saw lots of friends and they stayed on track. That is awesome. Way to go, Our Tiny Acres. That's a big challenge sometimes when you're seeing people or when you're out with people. Let me pull this up here. Hey, there was a snack I had when I got home on Friday. It's a little bit of mango. We have not had a lot of fresh mango. A lot of the mango that we've been eating has been either frozen mango or the Costco dehydrated mango. But this mango, it was fresh mango that Carrie had bought and cut up and diced up, and this was really good. So I took a photo of a little bit of the mango that I ate. I did not take a picture of dinner on Friday, and I have no idea what we had. I don't know. It might have been rice and beans, but I did not take a photo of dinner on Friday. And so then Saturday morning, broccoli for breakfast, oatmeal for breakfast. It's a little bit behind here. And then Saturday for dinner, we had rice and beans. I'm sure I had potatoes and broccoli on Saturday. I was really busy in the middle of the day, so I did not eat in the middle of the day on Saturday. I think I just had breakfast in the morning, and then I had this dinner when I got home that night. Then Sunday, again, broccoli for breakfast with some oatmeal, and then rice and beans for leftovers for lunch. So it really has me confused as to what we had for dinner on Friday night. I just don't know. Anyways, Carrie says she can't remember Friday's dinner either. Maybe it'll come to her. Yeah, I don't remember what we had. So, I didn't take a photo. Oh, you know what? I don't have a photo of last night's dinner on my phone yet. Give me a second. We do have a photo of it though. It was one of our favorites. Last night's dinner was one of our favorites, so I'm sure many of you with that little hint will know what we had here, but I did get it here. So, Carrie said that on Friday night we had an Irish stew from Plant U. Okay. Yeah, I think it was good. I can't remember much about it right now, but I do remember eating it all. I remember saying that, was that the dinner we had that I said it would have been good with rice in it too? Maybe. Anyways, dinner last night was polenta and white beans. And so that was our dinner last night. And then today was broccoli for breakfast, oatmeal for breakfast, and then a picture of a sink, and then potatoes and broccoli for dinner. Okay, yeah. So the Irish stew that we had Friday night was veggies and potatoes. It was good, and yes, I said that it would be good with like a rice in it. It would almost have made it like a gumbo kind of thing. And then today's lunch was broccoli and potatoes. So that's kind of the food from the weekend. I know I kind of buzzed through it fairly quickly though there, but really food has been kind of repetitive, I guess, or it's the same thing, broccoli and oatmeal for breakfast, broccoli and potatoes for lunch, and then something new for dinner. Our Tiny Acre says that you've been on a grapefruit and cherry kick lately. You were craving them before your doctor said they could help with your gout issues. So maybe there was something in them that your body knew it could get if you ate them. So that's why you were craving them. I don't know. It'd be kind of, but yeah. So hopefully they're helping with your gout issue. And then Carrie here says that we're having mega veggie chili for dinner tonight. It's Mega Monday. Yes, Mega Monday tonight. Let's see. I can stop doing that. So your foot's much better. That's great to hear, our Tiny Acres. This weekend, I mentioned Saturday I was very busy, or I was busy, or I had stuff going on Saturday. And one of the things that I had going on Saturday was an event that I had to go to, that I had to give a speech at the event. It was something where I didn't have a lot of prep time to get everything together, but I ended up doing like a 15-minute presentation on Saturday. And the whole process was nice. I was happy I completed it. It was a little nerve-wracking dealing with getting ready for it, short time, whether or not the topic would be relevant, lots of different stresses about it. But one of the nice stresses that I did not have was being worried about my physical appearance while giving the presentation. In the past, that would have been a huge kind of stress on top of the already stressful situation. Me being 500 pounds would have been even more stress added to that. So I suppose a non-scale victory for me is that I was able to give the presentation, stand in front of a room of 50 plus people and speak and not feel like I was, being completely judged for my weight, I guess. I'm still not skinny, but I'm at least better than I was at the time. And so that was kind of a big non-scale victory for me, was to be able to get up there to talk. And then also the topic that I was giving the speech about, I feel like maybe people would respect my opinion more now versus when I was 520 pounds, because sometimes I feel as if it's easy to dismiss somebody who's, because of that character trait, or at least maybe that's what you project onto yourself as somebody who is very overweight, that, oh, they're going to be judging me and they're not even going to be listening to me because all they're going to be thinking about is, what does this fat guy know about this topic? So it was good to be able to do the presentation, and it went well. I was happy with how it went, and also doing this channel, having this really helps with that as well, because I get some practice talking to a group, or practice presenting and speaking. So it was nice to do that. And like I said, that was definitely a non-scale victory from this weekend for me. It's the, I'm trying to think what else I had going on this weekend. We had that, and then Sunday, I think we just worked around the house, cleaned up, got things going. So Amy says, great non-scale victory for me. Yeah, it was really nice to do it. And I kind of faced it head on. I could have very easily, because I kind of had the option as to how much I wanted to speak. And I could have gone up and just talked for a couple minutes and sat down and probably have done a satisfactory job at what I was there to do. I almost maybe went a little over the top, because I felt comfortable enough to being able to do that. So that was cool. Let's see other things from the weekend. I don't think I had a whole lot else from the weekend. Thank you, Tennis and Yoga Girl. I appreciate that. So one of the topics that I really wanted to talk about, and I actually was going to try to talk about last week, was emotional eating. Somebody had asked in the chat feed right as I was finishing up a stream one day about how you handle emotional eating. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit about emotional eating and just where I'm at with it, because I do feel like, or I did feel like a very long time, that emotional eating was an issue for me, or that, anything, you find a reason to eat. If any reason, good or bad, you tie food to it. So then it kind of creates this emotional eating. And so just to first, I guess, what emotional eating is, and it's really just a way to, it's eating in a way to suppress or soothe your negative emotions, such as stress, anger, fear, boredom, sadness, loneliness, your major life events, or even more commonly, just the hassles of your daily life can trigger emotions that lead to emotional eating. And that can get in the way of your weight loss efforts. If you want to try to lose weight, eating emotionally can get in the way of that. And there's lots of things that can trigger it. There's relationship issues, work issues, just fatigue, financial pressure, health problems, and then that just compounds when you continue to eat poorly. It just adds more to your health problems. And I think that what we end up doing so much in life is that we make this choice between physical health and emotional health. And we always choose the emotional health over the physical health. It always seems, and I feel like that's what the emotional eating is that you're choosing your emotion over what the negative effect of that emotion is. You're choosing to eat emotionally regardless of what the effect is on your physical body. So as long as you're fixing the emotional problem, you don't care about anything else. And what it's always, whatever makes you feel better in that moment. You think, I can work on the physical stuff down the line. If I don't deal with this emotional stuff right now, I'm going to die. But what I think you have to realize is that emotional health and physical health are equally important. And what I think we end up doing is we try to solve one with the other all the time, and we need to separate the two. You try to fix your emotional issues with food, and you try to fix some of your food issues with emotions, just you use anger and stress and determination to fix your food problems, or willpower, or, you could say you're going to be determined this time, but you need to fix the emotional issues. You need to fix the psychological issues. You need to fix the things that are creating these emotions. You need to fix them separate from food, and you need to fix your food separate from those emotions. And I feel like I've been able to do that throughout this process because of the volume eating. And so when you choose to work on them independently, I think that's where you're going to start to see the success, because if I eat emotionally, if something causes me to eat emotionally, if the food is still 100% compliant, I'm not going to be upset with myself for eating that food. It's something where I think that we are very much always on this verge of hunger, like at least traditionally. And when I was losing weight, when I was trying to diet, when I was trying to lose weight, it gets even, where was I going with the emotional? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Give me a second. I guess where I'm at now is that the only food that I have around me, or the only food that I allow myself to eat, is compliant foods. And I eat a large volume of food. And so if something has me feeling upset or feeling sad, and I want to go towards food, I'm not going to feel bad if I eat a bag of broccoli emotionally. I'm not going to feel bad if I have 4 plain potatoes emotionally, because I can only do so much harm to my body with those foods. Whereas in the past, I think I remember where I was at. Like, when you're on diets, you're constantly starving, and you're constantly on this verge of breaking your diet, and anything can cause you to break the diet. And I think that's where a lot of the other diets I've done kind of feed into this emotional eating, because your body's looking for any excuse to add more calories, to get more volume of food in it. And so it keeps playing and pushing your emotions, so that you'll give in and you'll eat. Alicia's Healing Channel says, eat your program and emotional eating isn't an important factor. Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yes. Because it's such a low calorie dense diet. And if it's truly emotional eating, just like when my kids say that they're truly hungry, then you'll truly emotional eat broccoli. if you're truly hungry, you'll eat just steamed carrots. I think that what you have to do is you have to look at the emotions that are causing you to eat this bad food. And you have to start addressing the emotions too. Like that's something where my physical health was never going to get better until I addressed it. It was never going to get better until I started putting healthy food in it and started living a healthy lifestyle. And so I fixed my physical problems with food. I fixed my food problems because I really tie food and physical health are really very closely related. I fixed that physical health by fixing my food. I couldn't have fixed my physical health just by fixing my emotions because it was the food that made me sick. And I'm not going to fix my mental health with food. I have to address my mental health issues. And if you need to see a psychiatrist, you need to talk to a therapist, or if you just need to talk to a friend, sometimes it's just a matter of just talking can help and speaking out what you have going on. And that's, part of what I think like AA and having the sponsor, like those people emotionally drink, and so that's why they have that sponsor, is so that they have somebody that can help them deal with the psychological stuff, because you always went to food for your psychological problems. And so maybe having a therapist or finding somebody that you can talk to will help you get through those emotional issues as well. But you need to address the emotions with emotions and address the physical stuff with food. And again, like we're saying, if you can't separate the food from the emotion, then change the food that you're using to treat the emotion and, see if that helps. Carrie here says, and since we already made the choice to eliminate certain things from our diet, we don't have to fight off the temptation to eat those things. Yeah. I mean, it's something that, eating plant-based or eating a vegan diet is something that I only made that choice in November of 2020, and I haven't gone back on that choice, and I've never had to fight that choice. Now, sugar is something I also gave up in November of 2020, but then I gave in to sugar and salt in September of 2021. And so then I had to refight those kind of demons, or that kind of, I had to get that back out of my diet, and it took time to clean it up. It wasn't a quick sweep out of my diet for me. It took a few months. But because I let them in, that temptation was there, and then it took time to get it out. Again, now I really have no temptation towards those things because I've been able to build a chain of days together, and I can look back and I can realize how much better I do feel now than I did before I started the chain. Carrie says here that she doesn't know if I've ever discussed it on stream. But I was more emotional than normal the first few months of this challenge. I guess I don't know exactly what you're even talking about. You say here, we felt like not eating the junk food forced you to deal with your emotions in other ways. Yeah, and it's something where I'm kind of remembering talking about that, but that was a long time ago. And so, and that's something that's crazy too, is that I've been doing this for a little over 2 years now. It's definitely, my mindset today is different than it was 2 years ago when I started this. There's things I think now that aren't the same as what I thought back then. But yeah, I think that I do remember talking about that a bit, and talking about, that not having food to go to makes you deal with those emotions. You're kind of forced to deal with them. and you got to face them. Like that's the thing is you've been avoiding, like we do that same thing with weight loss. We avoid weight loss. We avoid weight loss. We avoid weight loss until somebody says, hey, you're going to die in 6 months if you don't fix it. Or, hey, sir, you just had a stroke, or, hey, you have diabetes. And then we say, oh, now I'm going to fix it. You do that same thing with your emotional health too, is you kind of kick that can down the road and down the road and down the road. Unfortunately with mental health that can spiral into a lot of different things. And so getting it taken care of, it makes it a difference. Our Tiny Acre says your emotions get much better the longer you stay on plan. Yeah, I feel very, very good when I'm on plan. I really do. It's, and you'd have to go back and watch my videos from when I've kind of slipped over that second year. And I would have a week period or a couple week period where I would be eating processed foods. And then I would kind of go back to the salt, oil, sugar free. And then 4 days later, I would be like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I didn't even know I felt bad 4 days ago, but now 4 days into it, I feel amazing. And so I really I hold on to that knowledge of that too. Like I had to live through these experiences. Some of these things you have to live through too, as much as it sucks, but sticking to plan makes it a lot easier. And I don't feel guilty. I would not, I mean, yeah. I mean, even when there was stuff that I was eating that was still like the avocado and the juice, like I would never feel bad if I overate avocado. Like I know that it would affect my weight loss, but I wouldn't feel less healthy because I ate avocado. So, see, Alicia's Healing Channel says, I look so much leaner since you were last on here. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do feel a little leaner today. I've been a little bloated the last couple of weeks. Thank you. And yeah, I hope that you can get that last 8 to 9 pounds off. The last dozen has been the hardest. Yeah, and I talked a little bit about that. I think on the Chef AJ thing I did, it got brought up, and she mentioned it a few times on the Truth About Weight Loss Summit, is that really that last 10 pounds or the last 20 pounds, you got to be 100%, it's tough. As you get closer to your goal, it actually gets tougher. People think that diets are going to start off as tough as they're going to be, and then they're going to get easier as they go on. And that is not how it works. If you're going to be trying to use diet to lose weight, you need to be more on plan as time goes on. And I think that's a great thing about eating this plant-based diet too, though, is that I've learned it's probably only 820 days, I guess, that we've been eating plant-based, but we just continue to learn. We just continue to learn how to be better at eating this way. It's something maybe that I think, like with keto or carnivore or paleo or all those other things, I kind of was like, well, I already know how to cook this way, so I'll just continue to cook this way, or how I know how to cook. And this way of eating is completely different, and it requires a completely different skill set in the kitchen, and it requires, it doesn't require, but it does benefit from having a lot of different gadgets that we never had before, like the Vitamix and the air fryer and the Instapot and the creamy, those are all tools that we never had before. I had the Instapot before, but that we use now, and we have wonderful dishes that we've not had before. Alicia also says here that emotions are under control when you're eating like this plant-based. Processed foods cause your depression and anxiety for you, and you can see that now 100%. Yeah, and that's something we had. Somebody who followed the channel a long time ago that was talking about how they were on like an autoimmune diet, And the thing about the diet was that the way it works is it's pretty much eat potatoes and broccoli for a little while. It's probably other stuff than that too, but it's very basic diet. And then it's slowly adding things in. And this diet has allowed me to see what happens when I add those things in. So when I'm 100% compliant, I feel awesome. When I have a little bit of salt, my whole body swells up, like just fluid retention everywhere. And I can feel that, like, and that's crazy to me because I used to eat salt all the time. And so that means I was just always retaining that extra fluid. Sugar is the same way, like you said, it causes you emotional issues, definitely causes cravings or like a drive to get it again and have more and more of it. And so now that I'm off of it, I can see that, and that's the great thing about, challenging yourself to do something for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years. It's, you eventually get to see how it really is going to work out. So something I mentioned is that, I had been gaining weight the last couple weeks, and it was no diet changes, maybe more volume. I don't know. Like maybe I was eating more food or I wasn't eliminating as much food. Just over the past couple weeks, I've put on weight, and I had to kind of face that. And how am I going to deal with the fact that I'm gaining this weight, and also adding on to it that I do it in this public forum like I do here. So I have to face not just myself, but also face everybody else with what I have going on. So my mind is racing on what I can do. What can I fix? What can I change? How can I make it work? And I had to kind of sit down and realize that a ton of my content is about consistency and about continuing on and continuing to do what you're doing. And I had to kind of step back and just be like, just be consistent. If the weight goes up 10 more pounds, just be consistent. And so that's what I did. And so I didn't allow those emotions of fear and regret, or regret's not even one of it, but fear and confusion caused me to go off track. I used those emotions to be like, hey, keep that part of my life consistent. Let's try to figure out maybe what's causing the other issues, or maybe there's something else causing the issues and it's not food, because there's a lot about level of stress, cortisol, and other things that can affect your weight. And so, or it could be that I wasn't drinking enough water. I don't know. It could be I was drinking too much water. It could have been all kinds of things. But our first instinct, I feel like, is to start shaking up the diet, start doing something different. And, like Barb says here, you got to trust the process. It's going to take time, and it's going to have ebbs and flows. It's going to have ups and downs. It's going to have good times and bad times. But it's a lot easier if you can separate the food from the emotion. And the easiest way, I think, that you can do that to separate food from the emotion is make sure that you are full of food. Just make sure it's whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free, below the red line. If you are stuffing yourself full of broccoli, you are not going to become grossly overweight. It might keep you from getting down to your goal weight a little bit longer than you wanted it to, but it's not going to keep you from getting to that goal weight as much as that cheeseburger would have, or as much as that Snickers bar would have. Like, you have to make an opportunity cost adjustment, or you have to kind of make that assessment when you're looking at it. It's like, if I'm going to absolutely have to emotionally eat, then if my house only has compliant foods, I don't have to worry about, I mean, if I emotionally ate a 5-pound bag of oranges, so be it. I want to not emotionally eat a 5-pound bag of oranges some days, like it's not going to hurt you to emotionally eat a whole food plant-based diet. And if you surround yourself by compliant foods, if you get rid of the junk food from your house, if you make sure that you have those, the pocket potatoes, and you have those snacks, if you have to have some higher calorie snacks on hand, like the Lara bars, or the like a snack like a dehydrated mango, or maybe some nuts around when you're starting off your diet, those things are better choices than what you are likely going to now. And if you need something that's going to stimulate you more than your regular diet, cashews, avocados, dehydrated fruit, those are all going to be things that are going to give you that increased dopamine bump you might be looking for. But again, over time, I think that if your food, and if you're eating, if you're getting to, like, you're getting to throw your emotion into that bad food too. And so it feeds into the process of it, and if the only foods you have to throw that emotion into is a bag of carrots, you might choose to deal with the emotion versus the bag of carrots. And Tammy here says that as you weigh less, you need less volume. Yes, as you weigh less, you need a lot less volume of food. And it's, again, it's a weird thing, because when we're taught about dieting, it's always about eating moderation, eating about less food. And I wish people understood that with this way of eating, especially, for me at 520 pounds, I was probably, thinking back, inadvertently, I was probably under eating, the first few months that I ate this way, just because I didn't understand. Well, one, probably because I was recovering from the very long fast that I did. But two, is that I just didn't trust that I would be able to eat a larger volume of food. And it took me a while to get used to the taste of the food. It tastes much better now. I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to eat twice as much Mega Veggie chili as I probably did the first time we had it. But it's because the first time we had it, I wasn't a big fan of it. And now it's one of our regular meals. It's something that my tastes have adapted to like. And I definitely eat more of that now than I did very beginning, like the couple months in. Once I really started to like it, I probably eat less of it now than then. But yeah, when I first started, it took time, and then I saw great success because I was eating a healthier diet and I was probably under eating a little bit. So now I feel like I have the volume definitely under control, or much better control. And then Tammy says here that once you get to your goal weight, it starts to be a juggling act to figure out how and what to eat, but you'll figure it out, and then it's great. And I think that the great thing about it too is that it's a learning process the whole way. It's not just something that is passively going to happen. And to get to my goal weight, I'd have to educate myself better. I have to learn more. And by continuing, like, I've made so many little adjustments to this diet over the course of the past 2 years. And it's because of me taking that time to learn these things that I'm excited when I get down to being 20 pounds away from my goal weight, because then I can I can continue to make tweaks and know that those tweaks are going to see I'm going to see benefits from them. Because like 2 years ago, like I said, I was consuming a lot of juices, and I wasn't doing enough physical activity to justify the addition of the calories from the juices, and I was still getting plenty of volume and calories from the rest I was eating. It was just the juice was just added calories. And I had added those calories in because I was working out, and then I got injured and I quit working out. Well, the avocado I mentioned as well. That was another thing that I was eating. I didn't start eating avocado till we were probably a year into this diet. And then I ate it for probably 4 or 5 months, and then realized that it was hindering my weight loss. I was eating pretty much a whole avocado every day, and that was not helping me to lose weight. So I cut that out. And it's something that, again, and also I guess we get tied into this healthy weight number or getting to a healthy weight. And I really feel like I will be healthier when I'm 40 pounds or 60 pounds lighter than I am now. Like from a statistical standpoint. But I feel extremely healthy right now. I don't feel like, I think Carrie made a comment, we're so in tune with our bodies right now. And that is more true now than it's ever been in my life. And I don't think I could possibly continue to eat this way and stay at 285 pounds. I think that weight's going to come down. But when I get down to 250 and in that last 30 pounds is when I'm going to really have to make those choices between, or I guess, but what I'm saying is that I feel like I'm as healthy now as I will be 60 pounds lighter from now, as far as like my future and like what's being consumed and what's being introduced into my body. It's only healthy food. And so I'm not going to get sicker. But I feel like I'm so healthy now. If I ate the same meals I had for the past 2 weeks and I stayed the same weight the rest of my life, I feel like I would still live a very long and healthy life at that weight. But I don't think it's physically possible. I think that eventually, my body's going to drop this weight. I definitely feel like I hit the top of whatever upswing that I was on, and I'm looking forward to re-losing these last 10 pounds again. But it's yeah. Trying to think. Barb, let's see a couple comments. Barb says, we don't actually have a healthy weight. We have a healthy weight range. Yes, many factors allow us to fluctuate within that healthy weight range. And that's something too that obviously loose skin and muscle and all that stuff, barring all of that. My goal weight is 219.8 pounds. And if I get to 219.8 pounds, that puts me at the top range of the overweight category. So that actually works out that it takes me from obese to overweight. So at 219, I'm still not technically a healthy weight. And when I started this challenge, 300-pound weight loss seemed, it was like a insurmountable. It'd be great, but we'll see what happens. It'll give me something to continue to drive towards for the entire 3 years is what I thought kind of at the time. And it was, it was a while back into this challenge. And it was fairly new into, it was probably within the first year of this challenge that I kind of realized that 219 is probably not going to be, the weight that I want to get to in the end. I think that getting down closer to 200 pounds is going to be a much more, it's going to be even healthier than being at 220 pounds. While I have the goal on this channel to reach 219.8 pounds, my real internal goal is to get down to like what would be considered a healthy weight. I don't know, again, like I said, barring skin, muscle, bone, all that other stuff, I don't know that I could physically get under 200 pounds. If I could, then I would love to do that too. I would love to get down to being what is considered medically a healthy weight. And so that's something where, my goal, as lofty as it was, it still keeps me short of being at that optimal BMI that people want to get to. Let's see. Gene says, try the Well Your World Freezer Voodoo Jambalaya. It's your second go to besides the Mega Veggie Chili. It's so easy to throw together and make a large batch. Okay, we'll have to try that Freezer Voodoo Jambalaya. And Carrie's asking if we need their voodoo, and Gene saying no, watch their YouTube video and you can get it. So Gene here says you'd never had okra before and you were very skeptical. It tasted really good though, and you have no problems now. Yes, the okra. Whenever I think of okra, I think of being a little kid and going to there was a buffet. It was called Ryan's Steakhouse. I don't know, probably a regional thing, but I used to get their breaded fried okra, and it was like a big deal that was my vegetable. That to me it was a big deal because I was eating a vegetable. Like, I can't believe I'm eating okra. But it was fried okra, and so you're pretty much just eating oil and breading. But when you say okra, that's what it makes me think of. Big G says, I love your courage. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the okra, it was, that's just a funny memory that popped into my head. That was my healthy eating whenever we went to the buffet place, was that I would eat fried okra. I don't know if I've had okra since we've started this diet. I feel like we have once, but not something we have common. And then let's see. I think that's about everything I had to talk about today. So just with the emotional eating, I think that feed into it, but choose different food. You don't feed into the, if it's truly eating because of the emotion, and it's not just you craving this food and then blaming the emotion on you getting to eat this food, like there's a little bit of a circle thing I kind of was referencing before. But yeah, like the you're trying to find an excuse to eat that junk food. Well, I can say, this person pissed me off, so now I get to go eat this junk food, or I get to say, oh, this stress has caused me to go get this junk food. And then you blame one on the other, and then the other on the other. So, You say you want to lose belly fat, but you don't know how to start. There's a lot that can go into it. I guess, are you eating a regular diet right now, just kind of a standard diet right now, or are you eating a certain way currently? I would say to anybody who's coming in and asking me for just quick suggestions, if you're eating dairy, eliminate dairy. It's the toughest thing in the world to eliminate, but if you can eliminate it, you will see weight drop off you immediately. If you can eliminate oil from your diet, you're also going to see an incredible amount of weight drop off of you just by getting rid of the oil from your diet. But you say you eat right, but you don't know what is wrong with your body. You've been 100 kilograms for ages, so it's about 220 pounds. It's, it's going to be, again, I don't know your height, so it's all kinds it's all kinds of things, but yeah, it's the calorie density of the food that you're eating is keeping you overweight, because our bodies, as much as we don't want to realize it, but our bodies are designed to eat a volume of food. If you're like me or like a lot of people, you get a lot of satisfaction from having a full stomach. And a lot of times you equate the content of what you eat with the joy, not just the fact of having the full stomach, but I get satisfied just by having a full stomach. It doesn't have to be McDonald's or a big bag of chips or some brownies or anything like that. It can be a bag of broccoli and a bowl of potatoes. And I get that same feeling of satisfaction from having a full stomach of food. But our bodies strive for a certain number of pounds of food each day. And what we do a lot of times when we diet is we restrict that volume, but we keep the density of the calories the same. And over time, our body fights us and it wants that volume. And that's why diets can last a couple weeks, a couple months. But eventually your body's natural instinct to get that volume is going to fight you. So what you can do is you can change the calorie density of the food that you eat. If you eat foods that are low calorie dense foods, then you can continue to eat that large volume, but you lower the calories. So if I eat 4 pounds of potatoes in a day, then I'm going to have like 2,000 calories worth of food. That's a lot of potatoes. 4 pounds of potatoes, not, that's a lot of potatoes. But if I ate 4 pounds of Taco Bell food, then I'm going to end up consuming 6, 8, 10,000 calories. If you weighed the actual weight of the food, like those chips are very light. Those tortillas are very light. So you could eat a lot of tacos and before you got up to 4 pounds of food. And so one person eats 4 pounds of potatoes, one person eats 4 pounds of Taco Bell. They both get satisfied. They both satisfy their volume craving that their body wants. But one person had 2,000 calories, the other person had 10,000 calories. So the person that had 10,000 calories is going to gain weight that day. The person who had 2,000 calories is going to lose weight that day. But when you eliminate oil, you get rid of the number one calorie dense food in our diet right now. It's 4,000 calories per pound. So if you just had oil all day, 4 pounds of oil, that'd be 12,000 calories. And when you deep fry stuff, when you fry their French fries, when you have that breaded okra, there's weight of oil that you are consuming. It's not free of oil. That oil's inside of that. When you eat that stuffed mushroom and you crack it open and all that juice falls out of it, that's oil. It's not just water that's in there. That was oil. Like that's in that. When you eat that piece of fried chicken and you're like, oh, it's so juicy. That's oil. That oil has weight. That's calories you're putting in your body. So oil, extremely high calorie dense, and dairy, extremely high calorie density. If you can get rid of all animal products, I would love to see that, because that's really where I've seen a lot of success. But oil and dairy, if you get rid of dairy, if you can successfully get rid of dairy, all of the other animal products do not seem appealing. There's nothing appealing about them if you can't smother them in cheese or put them in buttermilk, fried, whatever. And so, let's see here. Carrie's asking if you're female. I should have asked that as well, because it does make a difference if you are a man or a woman. I feel like men are able to drop those pounds very quickly, and women are able to drop those pounds, but it's much slower than it is for men. And I think it's a physical, it's a natural thing that probably has happened over evolution. And so Carrie says, okay, yeah, if you are a lady, she's saying to stay away from fat, all fat. Women's bodies tend to hold fat. She loves nuts, but she cannot eat them and lose weight at the same time. Yes, that's been something where I've been able to have cashews, or I've been able to have the nut butters and still seen weight loss come on, seen weight loss that week. Whereas Carrie is very sensitive to those things. I think that it's weird, because we live in this world where it's so easy to put on calories, put on pounds, put on weight. We didn't evolve. Our species did not evolve in a world where it was easy to put on weight and to have additional calories. So for our species, 5,000 or 7,000 or 10,000 or 30,000 years ago, for that species to be able to pack on fat and then to be able to retain that fat and not give it up easily, but to slowly give it up to keep the body alive, would have been a survival benefit to our ancestors. But now we live in this world where food is so readily available, and it's so easy to get those extra calories and to add that extra fat to our body. But we don't have a quick way to remove it, without surgeries and stuff. But our bodies are designed to hold on to it, because the longer it can hold on to that fat before it gives it up for our bodies to use to keep us alive, the longer it's going to prolong the life of that person. It's like, I'm sure that there's some example out there that, like if you have a timer that, what was it? The show Lost, right? No, if you have a timer that you have to reset once every 15 minutes, you're going to wait till minute 14, second 59 to hit the button. Your body's going to do that same way with using its fat stores, is if it's going to let you get as close as it can to dying, essentially, before it gives up that fat cell. And then it gives up that fat cell, and you're able to live on a little bit longer. And, it's probably a survival mechanism that keeps it there, causes that kind of issue. But he says you'll come back to test. That would be great. I would love to hear about how you do. But yeah, it's dairy, oil. I mean, I personally, if I go all out, eat a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. That's what I do. And that's what I've done to lose 235 pounds. I eliminated salt, oil, sugar, eliminated all oil products. It seems crazy. It's amazing. I get to eat wonderful volumes of food. If you go back and watch my videos or what I eat in a day, it's beautiful, bright food that I get to eat, and I feel healthier every day at the end of the day. You say you're doing intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day. So you've been doing that for almost 2 months, and you're not sure if you're doing it right. And so because you're still in this, the myth of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption, the idea that you can eat a little bit less and you'll be healthier. And or the idea that you can still eat a little bit of unhealthy things and it's okay. And what moderation allows you to do is it allows you to get that calorie deficit, but it's going to be tough. I mean, like you said, you're 2 months in and you're still not satisfied, I imagine. That's why you're not sure if you're doing it right. I would look at increasing the volume of food that you're eating in those meals by eating non-starchy vegetables or eating starchy vegetables. Just don't put butter in your rice or butter in your potatoes. Don't put cheese all over it. There's some wonderful no salt seasonings you can have. Our taste buds adapt. Another thing I love talking to people about is that your eyes adapt. So I'm in a bright room. My pupils are real dilated right now. I go walk into the room next to me that's really dark. It takes about 30 seconds. My eyes change and I can start seeing again. When I first walked into that room, I was blind because it was too dark. After 30 seconds, I could start seeing again. Our taste buds do the same thing. The diet you're eating right now is like being in a bright room. You're just nailing your system with all of these high, bright beams of food, like these high calorie, high dense foods. And when you change from eating a diet that has a lot of high calorie dense foods that spike that dopamine, when you switch to a lower calorie dense food, it's the same thing. It's like walking into a dark room, but it takes longer than 30 seconds. It takes 14 days. Some people, it takes 20 days for your eyes to adjust. But once they adjust, once your taste buds adjust, is what I meant to say. It's just as enjoyable, or in some ways more enjoyable, because you've been in bright rooms. Like right now, the room I'm in, I got these lights shining on me because of the filming. I wouldn't want to sit in this room all day, every day. If I had to sit here and have these bright lights on me all of the time, I could survive it, but eventually I'd get tired of it. And especially when I wanted to go to sleep, if I'm not allowing that rest, if these lights never get shut off, if it's always high, bright lights, at first you might appreciate it. You might be like, oh, nice. I can actually see some things, I didn't even notice that on my skin, at first. But then after 2 weeks, you'll be like, oh man, it's just if they could turn them down just a little bit, just a touch, but you get used to it, and you live in that scenario, you figure it out. But that little bit of relief that you would get from going into that room next door, that a little bit dimmer, or being able to turn the lights off. And I think that's what this plant-based diet is for me. It's being in a room with cool, comfortable lighting. It's not being in a surgical center, not getting ready to be, perform an operation. It's this diet is a cool, calm room. Whereas the standard American diet, or what everybody else is eating, is like this bombardment of our system. So yeah, it's, Gene's recommending the book, The McDougall for Maximum Weight Loss. It's a short read and it has good recipes in it. Down in the description below, I have a bunch of books that I've read. I personally love The Pleasure Trap. If you can download The Pleasure Trap on audiobook, if you can get The Pleasure Trap, I really enjoy that book. I really like the message that they give across. And so that's a big book. Fuhrman is a great one. Like she said, McDougall, quick read. That's a good book as well. You said you did keto some years back. It works so well, but seriously, it's not easy. So the McDougall, you can get McDougall. I listen to it on Audible. I'm not a big reader. I love listening to audiobooks. So I listen to everything, or all the books I've consumed over the past couple years have been through Audible. but yeah, all those books should be available on Amazon. Even some of them would be available at like local bookstore. And some of the books down in my description, at least. Gene says that keto can give you heart problems over time. Plus, you can gain the weight back quickly. And yeah, the pleasure trap's also very good. Yeah, the keto keto is it seems like it's going to work, and it does while you're doing it. But I think a big part of keto too is that you eliminate a lot of processed foods out of your diet when you eat keto. And again, you're looking at trying to reduce your volume. You're saying, I imagine when you ate keto, it wasn't an intuitive thing. Like you had to count your calories a bit still, but I did keto a little bit. I did like Atkins back in the early 2000s is what I kind of followed. And I had seen a little bit of success with it. But again, any success I've had up to this point was followed by failure up until this diet. So, there's little parts of my old diets that were redeeming, but overall, none of them were successful. So I can't really tout the benefits of them. Barb says that the library would have a lot of these books. Keto, it's because keto is ketosis. So ketosis happens when your body goes into its fasting state. Our bodies, again, just like our eyes, adapt to light. Our bodies can fast. Again, the pleasure trap talks about this. We have the ability to fast. It's something where I did it for 40 days. The studies say that a healthy weight male could do it for up to 70 days without having health complications on average. You're going to have, but anyways, when you water fast for the first 3 days, it sucks. It's horrible. But then after day 3, it gets easy. And what happens is ketosis sets in, and your body starts producing an appetite suppressant naturally. Your body is determined, okay, the winter's come and there's no more food available. And we're not sure how long until food is going to become available. So this person can't be running around with hunger on their mind all the time. So your body creates its own appetite suppressant. And so then you are in this state that because you're eating a keto diet, you can get away with doing it longer than somebody who's fasting can do it. But eventually your body wants those other calories. It can only produce that appetite suppressant for so long because the winter is eventually supposed to end. It's not supposed to go on forever, and it doesn't go on forever in nature. And so as soon as you go off ketosis, your body stops producing that appetite suppressant and you start eating everything in sight. And your body is probably extremely sensitive to these things because it hasn't seen them in so long. And so, again, ketosis, I think that it's really not much different than fasting. It's just getting to eat while your body's going through the fasting process. Again, I want to see examples of long-term too, I was never able to stick to a low carb diet for more than a couple weeks, unless I was like on an appetite suppressant. And even at that, I never did carb free. Low carb would be the closest I got. But so yeah, you're gonna see that weight come back on after ketosis or after you do a keto diet, for a number of reasons. And so that's what, again, like this way of eating too, is that I'm eventually like gonna get to my goal weight and my diet's gonna become better as I get to my goal weight. I think what we have in our mind is, so let's say you do a keto diet let's say I did keto and I lost 300 pounds. Do I still eat keto the rest of my life, or do I have to eat a new diet? And if I just spent 3 years doing one diet to lose weight, and then I have to eat a different diet to stay at that weight, then I have to relearn everything again, but I feel like with the way I'm eating is that the diet I'm eating today is the diet I'm going to eat at my goal weight. I'm not going to start adding in this crap food. I'm not going to start making my body less healthy once I get to my goal weight. It would have been a waste of all that time and effort. Like when I get to my goal weight, I'm going to treat my body even better than I did before, because that's why I did all that work. And let's see. Gene says that the diet is not volume restricting. That's why it works. You eat until you're full. So long as you keep under the 600 calories per pound, you keep the calorie density low. Yep. Yeah. Look into some stuff with Chef AJ. She does a lot of plant-based stuff. And Healthy Emmy. I think I hadn't really heard about her until a couple months ago, but I think the content that she puts out is really good. I'm sure there's a few other people out there. Yeah, so yeah, and you can find those books. I mean, I'm sure if you can't find them in physical copy, I'm sure you can almost find like a PDF of them, or like a digital version of them as well. But yeah, I'm sure you can get a hold of them. All right, so I went really long. I gotta go. I don't even know. Gary hasn't been texting me, I don't think, telling me I need to get off. So I don't think that I was that bad off today. But I'm gonna go over. This might be one of my longest ever. So thank you guys so much for checking out the stream. I appreciate you guys so much. It really helps me. It keeps me going, and gave me tons of practice of speaking in front of a camera or in front of a crowd for this past weekend. So I appreciate that too. But I'm out of here, guys. You all have a wonderful evening. I will be live tomorrow and Wednesday for sure this week for Weigh-In Wednesday. Gonna go home and have a big bowl of mega veggie chili. Yes, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm the least likely person to succeed. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. Absolutely. But I'm out of here. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you get subscribed to my channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon to get alerted when I go live or post new videos, click on that bell icon. Come on, you're an hour and 15 minutes in, you haven't clicked the bell icon yet. That's crazy. And the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up on this video as well. And let's comment down below, what healthy foods do you go to if you are feeling like you have to emotionally eat? What do you go to? And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nobody that gets to their goals, looks back and says, man, I wish I would have waited. Every person who reaches their goals looks back and says, I don't know what I was thinking. I wish I would have started so much sooner. I'm sitting here, I'm not even to my goals, and I wish I would have started 6 months sooner. I wish I would have started 7 years sooner. I wish I would have done something absolutely sooner than I did, but I'm happy that I did start something when I finally started it. And I would be upset with myself if I would have waited another day. So get started today. We will see you guys tomorrow.